Hello, all. Pardon the appearance. No, I did not shower today. I just got done cooking and I didn't videotape it because my wok was in my dishwasher, which it's very high tech, and I didn't know how to stop it, to take it out, to wash it. I didn't decide to cook a stir fry of sorts until after I had started the dishwasher. So I had some stir-fried vegetables in the freezer. I added mushrooms and spinach. I found out you can eat spinach and tofu together. I had taken out tofu out of the freezer last night that was being marinated in teriyaki sauce. So from there, I made white rice, which, so I did the rice first. Then I did put the tofu in the oven to cook it. And I put it in actually an 8-inch cake pan because I wanted all the juices all the marinade to be in there too, to cook with it. And then I took a masher and I mashed it so it would be crumbled. And once my dishwasher was done, by then my tofu was done, my rice was done, and I don't know, it was 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, and my dishwasher was done. And I had to use a pot holder to take out my wok because it was really hot from being in the dishwasher. And I first put in a little olive oil, garlic, little drizzle of honey. Maybe I should have put a little bit more honey in because it was a bit spicy. I think the teriyaki was spicy. And then I cut up the mushrooms, cut up the spinach, marinate, cook that. Then my stir-fried vegetables were steam in a bag. So I only cooked them half in the microwave and then dumped them in the wok. And then once they, I cut up half an onion too. And then once I put that in, then I added the tofu. I put a little water in the bottom of the pan, swished it around to get some more of the juices. And I also put, then I put the rice in. And then I was like, ooh, and I had the vegan cheese, shredded cheese, and I had hummus. And I also had, because it was a little spicy, and not that salsa isn't spicy, but I had a mango peach salsa. So I figured it would cut it a little bit. It did a little bit. I actually didn't think of this until right now. I have pineapple in the refrigerator. I could have cut that up smaller and threw that in there to cut it down a little bit. Dang. But it was a little spicy, but I mixed all that stuff together. So I don't know that I'd call it a stir fry, but it was really good. Like I said, a little spicy, but not too bad. Less spicy after, believe it or not, I added the salsa, the peach mango salsa, I think, like I said, that. So I have enough left over. So what I might do, oh my God, I'm looking at my hair. It looks horrendous. But what I might do is when I reheat it, cook up some pineapple, cut up some pineapple, and then this way cut it down a little bit more, make it a little sweeter. So that's what I did. I had a plate of that, and I have probably 2 nights dinner. So I really haven't done much this weekend. Still not feeling great. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm less nasally, but still nasally. So I've been, taking it easy. I really should be doing some stuff, but tomorrow I really need to get my garbage out, my recycling, because I still have the recycling from, um, yeah, the girls' night, which was a week ago Friday. So, but a lot of boxes, so it's going to be a lot of trips. So, tomorrow's another day. I don't want to go out now. It's dark and it is very windy, and it was very windy today, I should say. It doesn't sound like it's that windy still, but I don't know. I'm sure I'll find out when I walk Jazzy. But, so yes. And in my singles group, this is 2 questions. Well, one I posed, one was posed by someone. How would you feel if someone gave you a handwritten note after a date? Now, someone said they wanted them to clarify, which they didn't yet. Would it be at the end of the date? Would it be after the date, like you meet the second time? And I said, if I had a really great date, maybe, I don't call the first time you meet a date. And I clarified that. And I said, after a first official date, I have written a poem about it and sent it to the person. Some get freaked out. Some thinks it's sweet. Some say, oh, that's so nice. And then they kind of blow away. So maybe they think it's too much. And I guess this woman said she thought it would be really nice if after a date you got a note card, I guess she meant. And I thought it would be sweet if you got that from a guy. Or like if you meet for the first time and then you have a first official date and he gives you a single, I wouldn't say red rose because that's I love you. A yellow or a pink rose, I think that would be sweet. Even if it was artificial, that'd be even sweeter because you can have it forever. Or a little thing that reminded you of, or after the first date and after the meeting and then the first official date, if he gave you something that reminded you, would remind you of their date, or your date, or something you liked, or like I love hearts, and give me something small with a heart on it, or I think that would be sweet. So something thoughtful. Or if you went somewhere and there was a little token thing and they bought it without you seeing, and then the next time, unlike the one date that I went on. And well, he wrote to me through Facebook and he's like, oh, how have we never met? And, and we went to school together, and he's like, how do I not remember you? And so I said to him, I'm really not looking for a relationship, but I'd be willing to meet for coffee to, just chat. It's always good to have friends. Well, he did not. And first of all, he came in sweats and a t-shirt, and the t-shirt barely covered his stomach. And he had these sunglasses, and it was a time, like, I guess maybe this time of year, I'm not sure, where, it was sunny, and by the time we were done with coffee, or it was getting dark. And at the end, he's like, so we can go out. And I was like, listen, I told you I'm not. And I guess if I was really, really interested, but come to find out, he kind of stalked me. He's like, oh, I found out later. He tells me where, I walk and all this other stuff. And I've seen you meet guys, and I'm like, really freaked me out. This was after we met the first time. And then he gave me his sunglasses, and he said, here, if we meet again, you can give them back. If we don't meet again, you have something to remember me by. Well, if we never meet again, that means I'm not interested. Why would I want something to remember you by? So, and like I said, and I wrote to my friend, and she said, yeah, I'm so sorry. She's like, he did that to another friend. She didn't know he wrote to me. Just, I knew that they were friends, and I'm like, oh, she just doesn't friend anybody. And she's like, I feel bad unfriending him. And he said, oh, I was in this meetup group, and oh my gosh, they were so weird towards me. And, I feel, going up to a woman, he even knew where I worked in high school. Or was it? No, it was after high school. And I'm like, I worked there for like 2 days, dude, and decided I didn't like it. It was at a deli, in a store. And he knew the store. He knew I worked in the deli. And I said, it just wasn't for me. I was always fearful I was going to cut my fingers off or something. And it wasn't for me. And for you to know I worked there. So, oh my God, how? How did you know that? So you must have knew me in high school. So, a little freaky. But the question that I posed, and I'd love to hear feedback on, well, the no thing I'd love to hear feedback on too, because I think if a woman does it, a man feels intimidated or she's trying too hard. If a man does it, I think it's, sweet. Not the first date, not the first meeting, or maybe, it can be at the end of the first date because you did meet already. But I think like I said, I think it'd be sweet after your first official date, something to remember by, or even if he writes poetry, that would, wow, that would blow me away. And so the thing I posed is, I have a hard time meeting somebody. Well, I have met people with my brother's name, but I have a hard time with it. And I'm like, and well, I should say my brother is the third. So it's my biological father's name, my grandfather's name was, so no. And my brother's name, I have a brother-in-law, I have a nephew with that name too. So, yeah, that's that kind of, and definitely not my ex's name, but my ex's name is very uncommon. You don't hear it really. I've never met a guy or had a guy write to me with that name. I've seen some with that name, very, 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 very few on dating site, and left. My son, his name is becoming more and more and more common. But back when I gave him the name, it was his father's middle name. And I love it, but it's not very common in my age group at all. I've never met one person with that name. So some people, so I posed that on the group because you can ask questions. Some people put in there that I think it's just weird, and kind of calling me weird and saying that I have issues since I can't, I can't do that. But some are like, nope, I told not my son's names, definitely not my ex's name. And she said she never came across her brothers, or she didn't really, did she say? I'm not really sure. So maybe she doesn't have brothers. And one guy jokingly, sorry, said, "Oh, I haven't come across any, I haven't come across any women with my brother's names." So he obviously doesn't have sisters. So I have with guys that I didn't know the one had the same name. And my brothers, I came across, I did meet this one guy that, oh my God. I'm so sorry. And of course, I have no water in here. I think the spiciness is getting to my throat. Although I am still coughing from whatever I had last week. Cough always seems to linger. The tickle has seemed to gone away. Sorry about that. But I really, I did meet two guys with the same name as my one brother. And it's not a very common name. You don't find a lot of guys with it, but a few. And they both turned out to be jerks. So it was not an issue. One was married and his wife was sick. And very mentally and physically and all this stuff. And they had some kind of thing that he attended. And I was like, oh my gosh. And if he would have been honest with me, I wouldn't have pursued it. But and then he wrote to a friend of mine while he was talking to me. And he kept, he's very much a gentleman, really nice guy and everything. But my gut was like, something's off, because when I asked him about the divorce process and because this was in the beginning when I was going through the process. And I said to him, listen, I'm not looking for anything serious. I just want someone to go to dinner with, maybe dinner and a movie, just getting my feet wet. I'm still going through the process. I was always very honest with people. And he's like, sure, no worries. And I really, I don't know, something in my gut was like off. And when I got his last name and looked him up, there was this article of him attending something, and he served on a board in the town he lived in. And so he didn't lie about how many kids. He didn't lie about his job. He didn't say he was on a board. He didn't lie, like I said, where he lived, his kids, everything. The only thing he lied about is that he's still married. And his wife is very ill, and I don't know, it wasn't MS, but something like that. And mentally it has taken a toll on her, or it affected her brain or something. And I don't know, it was some organization, and they did a little bio on him, and, and his poor kids. And I'm like, oh my God, I get it in a way, but till death do us part, in sickness and in health. So that. And the other one was just a freak. And then there was two of them with my other brother's name, which is kind of a common name. And they went by the first initial of their name. So, the one had the first three letters of his name, and the other one first initial. So I didn't realize what their full name was. And when I did, I was like, all right, I'm invested. Let me see. And I was willing to continue with the one guy, but he all of a sudden just, wrote me this text and whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, see ya. And the other guy, it was during COVID. And I don't know, he's like, oh, after we met, kept our distance, whatever, he's the one that reached out to me recently. And I was like, that let's just in person, but then totally took a break. And the more I look at my hair, I'm sorry, I'm harping on this, but oh my Lord, should have waited to do this till tomorrow. But like I said, I'm real. This is who I am when I don't take a shower. My hair looks lovely. Not. So definitely not my ex. And a lot of people, one woman said she's divorced twice and same name. One said how she was the second wife, her first marriage, his second, her name same as the first wife. And he had, I don't know if he's engaged now or it was before her or after her, same name. I knew a friend of mine, kind of sort of related, but, long story. My stepbrother is married to her sister. So her mother, from what I hear, and she was married 3 times, and all 3 had the same name. So, I don't know. I mean, someone said, oh, next, you're not going to be able to date someone that has the same, is a Gemini because, your brother's a Gemini, your ex is a Gemini. And I was like, no, I have nothing wrong with the sign. Although I seem to meet Libras, I have nothing wrong with the same sign. I do ask when their birthday is, because not my brothers. That doesn't bother me if they had the same birthday, because one guy did have the different name, but same birthday. But I've never met anybody with the same birthday as my ex. His father, who was the day before him, but not my ex. And my mother, her first marriage to my biological father was in September. I don't know what day. But her second wedding was actually September 11th, before September 11th. So I don't know when her first wedding was. Couldn't tell you. I know it was in around that date, but they picked that date because that's when the church was available. That's when the hall was available. And so my grandmother was like, really? Same month? To my mother. But what are you going to do? So out there, men and women, could you date someone with the same, well, goes for women and men, because, if a woman dates, other women, could you date someone same name as your mother or your sisters? Or if women that dates men, can you date someone with the same name as your children, ex, or brothers? And men, if you date men, can you date someone with the same name as your father, your brothers, your children? And men, if you date women, could you date someone the same name as your mother, sisters, children? My uncle, actually, his first wife, which was, I want to say 37 years, somewhere between 35 and 37, somewhere in that ballpark. I know it was over 35. Married this woman, the same name as my grandmother, his mother. And so my grandmother had to use her middle initial because they lived in the same house. Not at first, but when they did, when they moved in, my grandmother then had to start using her middle initial for the first time. So can you date someone with the same name as your children, your ex, your siblings? That is my question. I don't know. I can't. Luckily, I only have one son. A woman said she definitely, her son is named after his father. So that's a big no. Some said not the ex, but siblings doesn't matter. Some woman said she has an extended family, step siblings besides siblings. And there's one name that's two names that are very, like a lot of people have. So she could not date them, because there's just so many of that name, but the other names don't bother her. So just curiosity. And as far as my unconventional stir fry, I just did a packet of stir fry, frozen stir fry. I added some mushrooms and spinach with some garlic and olive oil and a little bit of honey, which maybe a little more honey, and cook that up. The tofu I marinated in teriyaki sauce. Cook that in the oven and at first. And the rice I cook separately. So, and then once the vegetables all marinated and were, good. Oh, sorry, an onion. Half an onion. A small onion. And then I dumped the tofu in there and the rice. And then I did add mango peach salsa, hummus, and a little vegan cheese. Now, I do wish I had some soy sauce or some more of the teriyaki sauce. But like I said, when I reheat it, I'm probably going to cut up some of that pineapple to cut down on the spice a little, because there's a little bit of pineapple juice in there. This is fresh pineapple. So a little bit of pineapple juice in there. So that might cut down on the spice a bit. So, but hope everybody is staying warm and the spice is wearing off, because now I feel room temperature. And what movie did a girl, the 5 blind dates, I think it was, but I don't know if it was 5 blind dates, but she's Asian and I believe it takes place in, somewhere overseas. And the thing is that this woman tells her that, she will go on 5 blind dates and the 5th one will be the one before her sister's wedding. And so, I don't know. It was very interesting because she had an offer from a guy who was a traditional Chinese businessman, and he was expected to take a wife. And then he had a little thing on this with a guy, and he offered her a very, very handsome package, like put her up in, they were going to have 2 residents, and the one with the view was gorgeous, and give her an allowance, but she'd have to have kids with him. I think 2, he said. And although she said it's a very great offer, she's like, I can't. I want to find my, true love and be happy. And she couldn't be happy this way. This point in my life, could I do that? Morally, I don't think so. But given that position, I don't know. I really don't know what I'd say this point in my life. When I was her age and 20-something, no way. But this point in my life, I don't know. I mean, money can't buy happiness, but and I wouldn't have to give kids, but then would I, she'd have certain obligations, this girl, to be seen with him at certain things. Could I do that? I don't know. I don't think so. But could you? At this point in your life, could you? I don't know. But hope everybody has off tomorrow for President's Day. If you don't, I'm sorry. I do. So have to run to the store because I'm down to my last roll of toilet paper and not many tissues left. So I'm going to have to go. And now I'm hearing a little bit of wind. Hoping tomorrow's a better day as far as weather. All right. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.